return, and after being transferred to the Birmingham Children's Hospital by ambulance, my condition progressed and grew worse and worse. After spending all day in A&E, I was finally diagnosed at the end of the night with a rare neurological disease called transverse myelitis. It meant that my spinal cord, my antibodies had attacked my spinal cord, leaving me with paralysis. My condition grew worse and worse, and only after 3 days I was transferred onto the high dependency unit, where I was awaiting vital treatment that would probably save my life. And as you can see, this is the treatment I received here, where I had to have an ongoing blood transfusion called plasmapheresis, which effectively stopped me from being neck down paralysed for life. After receiving all my treatment, I was left with paralysis from the chest down and limited function in my arms and hands, and I was totally unable to be independent. I was transferred down to Stoke Mandeville Spinal Unit, where I received 5 months of intense rehabilitation, and in August 2012 I was finally allowed to return home. However, returning home turned out to be quite the challenge, and as with no accessibility to my house, I was very limited in what I could do. My room, as being once upstairs, had now been transferred downstairs, and I spent up until Christmas Eve living in my grandparents' bedroom, and only being able to have access to 3 rooms in my house. I wasn't able to have a shower in my house, and I wasn't able to get in or outside my house without assistance from 2 people. From my life transforming overnight, I felt as if though the odds were against me, and I felt as though my life became one big obstacle that I could not tackle. As a young child, I had a dream to be in the Olympics, and I wanted to be an Olympic sprinter like every young child does. And I always had a real passion for sport. It was in every sport at school. And I was a keen cross-country runner and also a keen sprinter, and I ran with Halzone Athletics Club for many years to progress within my running and meet a lot of other runners my age. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to return to running after having my injury, and I knew after much heartbreak that I probably would never return to any form of sport. However, after travelling to London to the greatest Paralympics of all time, I realised this was not true. Never before had I ever seen people with disabilities doing sports and becoming champions. But one sport in particular caught my eye, and this was wheelchair racing. And after seeing gold medals coming from the likes of Hannah Cockcroft and David Weir, I knew that I wanted to get involved in wheelchair racing and start what I did. However, we all know that life didn't make that easy for me, and I came across another obstacle that I couldn't tackle really. I tried to find somewhere that would facilitate wheelchair racing and somebody to get me into a racing chair. And after weeks and weeks of trying to find somebody, I finally found my coach, who I have at the moment, called Joe King. And when I got in contact with Joe, he was very sure. He was like, "Yeah, come down to race chair. I'll get you in a racing chair. It'll be great." So I went down on a Sunday, and I remember it very clearly. This was the first day of wheelchair racing, and I got in a chair, and I started going around and doing loads of laps. And I remember feeling like this is pretty much the same as running. I'm just in a wheelchair. And after that day, I've been going to training every Wednesday and Sunday in Coventry ever since with my racing group. So after only 5 months, I entered my first competition at the London Mini Marathon, which is a 3-mile road circuit, which is the last part of the marathon. And after only being racing for a short time in a borrowed chair, I came in second place with a time of 17 minutes within the 17 girls category. From there, my sporting life spiralled, and before I knew it, I was travelling all over the country to places like Bedford and Stoke Mandeville to race, and then I was racing overseas against the world's best wheelchair racers. And a month after the mini marathon, I travelled to Switzerland to race against Paralympians I'd seen on the TV only 6 months ago. In a kind of short space of time, my life had been going from looking not very bright to suddenly there was a lot of opportunities open for me. Not only was my athletic dream back, but I also found this newfound confidence in myself. And after being approached by the Backup Trust, who are a non-profitable organisation in London, based in London, who basically deal with and help and run courses for people with spinal cord injuries, both younger and older people. I decided that I wanted to go on an activity holiday in the Lake District, run by the Commonwealth Trust and Backup. This holiday changed my whole outlook on disabled people and just what disability was really about. Just the same as before my illness, I was doing rock climbing, abseiling, kayaking, and you name it, I was doing it. It's something that I thoroughly enjoyed doing before my disability. The Backup Trust had given me an experience of a lifetime, and it changed my outlook on life. And immediately after the course, I decided I wanted to show other people what disability really meant, and how you could tackle it. So I started and I inquired with Backup about doing some voluntary work with them to give back to Backup what they gave to me. I firstly joined the Youth Advisory Group, which is this group here. It's a group of young people, and we get together about twice a year. And we're a fundamental part of Backup services and ideas. And basically what we do is we get together, we plan courses, we run Backup social media, and we run mentoring services as well for young people. And it was basically the first thing I got into, and I've been on the team ever since, and we've progressed so much throughout the years with members, the number of members growing and growing, really. I then, after this, decided that I wanted to get into kind of learning how to do wheelchair skills training, and I knew back off of these services they taught me how to kind of use my chair to my maximum ability, and after being trained to be a wheelchair skills trainer, I later then was able to teach other people on the same course that I had been to on the multi-activity holiday in the Lake District, and I wasn't a participant, but I was a wheelchair skills trainer teaching other young people what I was learning the year before. And since then I've been volunteering with Backup ever since, and last year I got the award for Young Volunteer of the Year for 2013. And I was soon trained up to be a mentor, will be helping other young people just like me sort out their problems and overcoming their disabilities. In the last 6 months, my life has been especially crazy. I've gone to become the under-17 3-mile road champion in the London mini marathon, where I got to meet Tom Daly and set a new personal best of 14 minutes on the road course. I made both my England and Great British debut on an international stage, and earlier this year I got the chance to fly out to Italy to compete in the IPC World Grand Prix in Grosseto. There I competed against many women in my classification, whom Paralympians in London. From there I went to do my GCSEs, which was very tough, and I had a period which took much time and effort and a lot of time away from training. But in August I received my results to say that I achieved 5 A's and 5 B's, which meant that I acquired the grades to get to the second best sixth form college in the country. Before I received my results, I was also part of the biggest Commonwealth Games that the world has ever seen. After being selected through a tough selection criteria, I was proud to say that I was part of Team England, and was able to wear the lion on my chest that I wear today, and be in the biggest nation that there was. It's an experience that I will honestly never truly forget, and I will tell my children about one day. To be along the likes of Usain Bolt and Greg Rutherford and other amazing athletes like that was truly incredible. With all my hard work, I made it through the heat run and went through to the finals. And within the finals, I placed 9th. And I can honestly say I've never been more emotional than I was that day. As I wore the lion on my chest and I heard the amazing roar of people around the stadium, it was honestly an electric feeling I had. But yet again, I faced another obstacle, and this is what my arm looked like the day before I went into my Commonwealth race. And I received an injury on my right arm, in my wrist, and my lower arm and my shoulder. And having my shoulder strapped together and my arm pretty much only intact to push my day chair, let alone a raised chair, I had to receive intense physio in order to even push, which meant I couldn't perform to my maximum ability, but it didn't stop me from going out there and having an absolutely amazing time. My outlook on life now is very different to 2 years ago, and now I see my disability as an opportunity and not a barrier. And though I may not be able to run, or I may not be able to jump, and I might not be able to obviously walk, I still see my disability as a way of still being me and still being a kind of a new inventive me. My life now has changed much now. I'm living the life many of the teenagers are not at the moment. And I'm currently finishing my first term of college, and it is going fantastic. My college isn't the most accessible place. I know this is a very old building, but I make the most of college, and I feel as if my opportunities in education are endless there. I'm also learning how to drive, as you can see on the left, and this is one aspect I never thought I would be able to do after being in a chair. And then when I found out about hand controls, I got all excited. And I was like, I can drive now. So it's given me a new sense of freedom that I've never really experienced before. So I'm quite enjoying learning how to drive. I do not know what my future holds, but I do know that as long as I keep working hard and I keep breaking down the obstacles that face me and the barriers that face me, I can achieve anything. And I'm currently training hard and looking forward to the possibility of Rio 2016 and the Paralympic Games. And I've always said, from when being in the chair, I'm never going to stop. I'm going to keep trying forward and going forward, and whether that be through sport or just day-to-day life, you just got to keep going. And I know that someday I'll hopefully be a champion. And as I always say, the only person that can put this in ability is yourself. Thank you.